Here's what I want to talk about. So Mary, she receives the visitation of the Blessed Virgin. Mary receives the visitation from Gabriel, and then she goes to visit Elizabeth, her kinswoman Elizabeth, who's now in her 6th month of pregnancy, right? This is how the story goes. We get the sense that it's almost immediately after the Annunciation that Mary makes haste to this hill country of Judah to visit Elizabeth. You know, and as I was praying with this, Mary, she's carrying this, like Jesus is the Word made flesh, but at this point, he is still just a whispered secret, right? He's the whispered Word made flesh. And she isn't even, like at these earliest stages of her pregnancy, she isn't even showing any signs of pregnancy. I wonder if there were moments when in Mary's own head, if she was wondering, did I dream that? Was that real, right? And I wonder if she went to Elizabeth to corroborate the whole experience that she had. Yeah, that was a real angel. That all really happened. But she's going along, and like the whispered Word made flesh, like, has he even implanted yet into the fertile soil of her immaculate and virginal womb yet? Has that little egg entered into the soil of her womb? It doesn't matter in some ways, because whether the Word made flesh is a single cell or whether he's the full-grown man dying on the cross crying out, my God, why have you forsaken me? Like, the miracle is still the same. The miracle is still the same. God, right, is here. You could point to Mary's abdomen and say, God is there. He is right there. He is Emmanuel. He's visited his people. We said in that psalm, among you is the great and holy one of Israel. You know, Mary being a good daughter of Israel, I wonder how often during her pregnancy, especially in those early months, I wonder how often she prayed those words from Psalm 12, right? As she walked to the marketplace to get food, as she was interacting with friends and neighbors, as she was with Elizabeth in the hill country of Judah, as she was with Elizabeth and her friends preparing for Elizabeth to give birth to John, all the while thinking, all the while just marveling at the fact, right, among you, and she's looking at these people, among you is the great and holy one of Israel, and you have no idea. He's inside me, the living tabernacle, or the words that we heard from Zephaniah. Fear not, O Zion, be not discouraged. The Lord your God is in your midst, He's among you, he's in your midst. This whispered secret that Mary was carrying within her. And who notices? Not the big people, but the little people. The teeny tiny infant, right? John, he's the first to respond. The first to notice. Like iron filings in the presence of a magnet. Like he can't help but respond by leaping for joy. Now look, here's what I want us to notice. This dynamic, that something happens inside of Elizabeth at the hidden presence of Christ. There's this interior experience that happens inside of her in the hidden presence of Christ. That's what the Word made flesh causes to happen. Like we see this same pattern. We see the same pattern of like visitation, interior movement. Like that same pattern, we see that after the resurrection too. Think back to the story of the disciples on the road to Emmaus, right? They're walking from Jerusalem to this town called Emmaus, 7 miles away, and Jesus, hidden from their sight, approaches and walks with them, converses with them, is opening and sharing the scriptures with them. And as they get to the town, as he disappears from their sight, they say, were not our hearts burning inside of us as we walked along and as he shared with us? There's the visitation, the Word draws near, hidden. There's this interior experience, right? Now, if Elizabeth could preach to us, if those disciples on the road to Emmaus could preach to us today, if they could talk, they would say, like, notice the moments when something in you leaps up. Notice the moments when something in you leaps up. Notice the moments when your heart within you seems to be burning, because that's when among you is the great and holy one of Israel. Among you is the hidden Christ. He is not just kept in our churches. He's not just simply visiting us in the sacraments. He is visiting us. Catechism, first paragraph says, at all times and at all places, he draws near. As soon as you leave this church, you go to your car, at all times and all places, he's still drawing near. He's drawing near to you as you go about your day. He's drawing near to you as you're folding laundry. He's drawing near to you as you're preparing dinner. He is drawing near. The visitation is endlessly happening, but there's discrete moments where something symptomatically happens within us. Our heart begins to burn. There's this leaping within us. There's something interiorly stirring, right? Let me just give you a quick anecdote from this past weekend. It was so beautiful, right? These past couple days, weather-wise, have been so extraordinary. Perfect Memorial Day weekend. I was at a graduation party on Saturday. I think it was Saturday. No, it was yesterday. It was Sunday. No, Sunday. Monday? Who knows? It was one of these recent days. Doesn't matter. I think it was Sunday. Anyway, it was gorgeous, and I was sitting in a chair, one of those Adirondack chairs, in the shade of a tree in the backyard, and beautiful music playing. The breeze is going. Like, the sun is coming through the trees. I'm holding my friend's 11-month-old son. I'm feeding him a bottle and just sitting there. He's dozing, I'm dozing, and it just was one of those moments, right, where I am just overwhelmed by the beauty of all of it. Right? Like, there's something burning inside of me, something leaping up within inside of me. It's not just, boy, this is a nice day. There's something more. Like, it was a moment where the hidden Christ, he was there. He's drawing near. He's whispering. He's saying, my love for you is something like this. Like, heaven is something like this. This is what you're looking for. Right? The hidden Christ, he is the one who visits us, the hidden Christ. And where we sense his visitation in our hearts, like the womb of our hearts, that's where things leap up. That's where things burn. And he doesn't want us to miss the hour of our visitation. That's what he says in Luke 19. Jesus laments that Jerusalem missed the hour of their visitation. Do not miss the time of your visitation. That's why maybe some of you practice the Ignatian examination prayer, St. Ignatius. Says at the end of your day, you're to review your day, not simply to notice all the times where you screwed up and you were sinful and immoral. It's not an examination of conscience. It's an examination of all the moments throughout the day that I missed his visitation. And to, in my imagination, at the end of the day, to go back and experience the grace that I missed at the moment. That's what we're supposed to do. So let's not miss our hour of visitation. Amen.